Hello, you are watching VNews Broadcast Daily, and following are today's headlines.
Party and state leaders herald Bangladeshi Prime Minister's visit, an important milestone in bilateral ties. Conference seeks answers for how to develop sustainable tourism sector. Efforts are being made to revive a singing form on streetcars in Hanoi.
A reception on November 2nd for visiting Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Cham said her visit is an important milestone in the tradition of friendship and wide-ranging cooperation between the two countries.
Cham affirmed that the party and government of Vietnam attach importance to strengthening the relationship with Bangladesh. He agreed with the guests to further promote the cooperation between the two countries in all fields and through all channels in the future. Sheikh Hasina conveyed the determination to foster cooperation with Vietnam in economics, trade, agriculture, culture, and national defense. The same day, President Trương Tấn Sang also gave a reception for the visiting Prime Minister. He said he believes that the visit would lift bilateral ties to a new height. Sang confirmed the willingness to share experience in development and integration progress with Bangladesh. In reply, the Bangladeshi leader emphasized that Bangladeshi people always give Vietnam a special position in their hearts. Hasina thanks Vietnam for supporting Bangladesh's bid to join ASEAN. At the Vietnam-Bangladesh Business Forum in Hanoi on November 3rd, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina stated her country will work to speed up economic ties with Vietnam. Two-way trade between Vietnam and Bangladesh hit $500 million in 2011. It is expected to double in the next 2 or 3 years. The Vietnam-Bangladesh Business Council was set up right at the forum.
How can the tourism sector grow sustainably with minimal impact on the environment? The question was raised in the first ever annual Responsible Tourism Conference held in the capital city of Hanoi on November 2nd.
The conference is a practical activity of an European Union program to develop responsible tourism in terms of the environment and society. According to experts, Vietnam is facing challenges in managing tourism products to match with the increasing number of visitors. One of the reasons leading to unsustainable development of the tourism sector is a lack of full awareness of how responsible tourism is. The World Tourism Organization affirms responsible tourism is a factor to ensure sustainable tourism development. Apart from achieving a growth, we need to ensure the environment is protected, cultural relics are preserved, and more importantly, people's awareness about these things would be better. Tourism continues to achieve strong growth in Vietnam. Total foreign arrivals during the first 9 months of the year reached 4.8 million, reflecting growth of 13% over the same period last year, despite the global economic slowdown. The EU-funded program, worth 12.1 million euros, is the largest one to support the tourism sector in Vietnam. It will grow through 2015.
Japanese experts shared their experiences and advanced technologies in water treatment with Vietnamese businesses at a seminar in Ho Chi Minh City. The seminar took place at the Vietnam-Japan Human Resources Cooperation Center on November 2nd.
Japanese specialists introduced cutting-edge technologies in water treatment that can enable Vietnam to preserve its water resources, which is increasingly exhausted due to overexploitation. These applicable technologies can also help provide more clean water and at the same time reduce environmental pollution, a burning issue around the world. The specialists show their willingness to support and cooperate with Vietnam in this field. Japan has used high technologies to treat water for a long time. It received a lot of Vietnamese businesses in fact-finding tours to learn from its experiences in the area. Recently, the World Bank has approved a $50 million aid to help Vietnam improve sewage treatment in her industrial zones. According to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, industrial parks discharge up to 1 million cubic meters of untreated water a day, making up around 70% of the total volume of industrial wastewater in the country.
Rangers in northern Ninh Bình province on November 2nd released 2 Delacus langours into Vân Long Nature Reserve. The langur, known as vọc quần đùi trắng in Vietnam, currently is listed among the top 25 most endangered primate species in the world.
The 2 langurs were born at the Center for Rare Primate Preservation, located in Cục Phương National Park in Ninh Bình province. After leaving the center, they will still be watched closely. The efforts aim to help them get back to their natural habitat to increase their number naturally. The Delacus langur is one of the rarest and most endangered primates on Earth. This species is endemic to Vietnam and has been listed endangered in Vietnam Red Data Book 2000. Covering a total area of 2,700 square meters, Vân Long Nature Reserve is believed to contain the largest remaining population of langur.
For nearly a century, from 1900, streetcars wander the streets of Hanoi and feature live entertainment of so-called Sầm Tàu Điện singers. When the streetcar lines were abandoned in the late 1980s, this type of singing disappeared. Recently, efforts were underway to revive this art form, which is familiar to generations of Hanoians.
A series of concerts of Sầm Tàu Điện, mostly itinerant blind artists accompanied by đàn nhị, 2-string violin, or đàn bầu, monochord, took place at the Women's Museum. The shows attracted hundreds of all ages, but mostly elderly, who wished to relive the memories of their youth when they used to hear the bells of the streetcars and the melodies of this style of folk music. Audiences once again heard the familiar melodies that used to resound on streetcar trips from the central station at Hoàn Kiếm Lake to various destinations, including the Mơ and Bưởi markets, Cầu Giấy and Hà Đông. This is a folk art form. I found it really interesting. I loved listening to it whenever I took the streetcars around the city in the old days. The melodies of Sầm were borrowed from other styles of Vietnamese folk music, such as Chống Quân or Quan Họ, love duets. Through the content and performance of the songs, some artists told their tragic lives or the misery of the poor and evoked sympathy from audience. However, different from songs performed at markets, the streetcar songs were often had more elegant lyrics tailored to the taste of city people. And there were always humorous songs that aimed to advertise products being sold by the performers, such as toothpicks, balm, and herbal medicines. A performance of Sầm Tàu Điện on a stage with lights, microphones, and with the director of the streetcars, however, could not fully capture the soul of the art form. When I was a little girl, I often chased after the streetcars to listen to some songs. These shows are very precious for me to hear the Sầm melodies again, but I found it different from what I heard in the past. It is impossible to return to the ambience of the 1980s. The objective of the show was to remind people of an original art form of the past. And the most important thing is that the melodies be preserved and the passion of the artists. Today, about 400 Sầm songs are still preserved, merely handed down orally from generation to generation. The most famous surviving artisan of this art form is 95-year-old Hà Thị Cầu, the so-called last surviving Sầm singer. Sầm is in fact facing a threat of disappearing because the number of experienced artists has declined rapidly, while younger street performers prefer more modern styles of music. Researchers and devoted artists have been working hard to make the art form go back to its glory and teach it to a younger generation.
That comes to the end of our news today. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.